The Las Vegas Raiders are starting to look like what the new regime wants now. They got Devontae Adams last year and had a great offseason this year. I'll even give it to him for getting Jimmy Garoppolo to play quarterback. That's their guy they know, and he knows them and their system. With Garoppolo and an improved defense, there are no excuses. It's time to go win some games. You know what though? An NFL team is just as much about who's not on your team as it is who's on it. You can't have any dead weight. Every player on the team has to have a purpose. He has to be the guy you want for a certain job or the guy you want if you don't have the guy you want for the job. So it just might be time for a few Raiders to get cut. One guy I'm surprised is still on the team is right tackle Brandon Parker. When a new regime comes to town, you have to play well and impress them to stay on the team. That's why former Raider quarterback Derek Carr is in New Orleans now. Parker didn't do anything to impress them either, but for some reason he's still getting every opportunity in the world. He tore his tricep muscle last year, but before doing so, he didn't look like he had gotten any better than in previous years. They started him off with the first team last year, but that was short-lived. Darren Munford and Jermaine Illuminor ultimately ended up battling for the position. He's not the guy you want protecting your quarterback. He's not even the guy you want if you don't have the guy you want protecting the quarterback. Munford and Illuminor are once again battling for the starting right tackle spot. Illuminor could end up moving to guard if he can't win it, but even that might not open up a spot for him. Dalton Wagner is coming, and Justin Herron, who came from New England, is the backup left tackle. If Parker isn't any better than he's been in the last few years, he's going to be gone. Brandon Bolden is definitely one of the new regime's guys. He was treated like a star running back at first last year, as he didn't even dress for a preseason game. Need I remind you that Josh Jacobs played and carried the ball in the Hall of Fame game last year, and he's number 12 on the NFL's top 100? Yeah, go figure that out. Either way, Bolden has had a long career and the sun is setting on it, so it might be time to go on home at 33 years old. There are some hungry youngsters that can take it from here. He was useful last year as a guy that could help the running back room out with the offense, but the two running backs the Raiders drafted last year should have it down, and you know Jacobs does. When Bolden was on the field last year, I didn't see any wiggle in him or the ability to break tackles, so it's time. I'm betting on Jacobs to go ahead and sign his franchise tag just before the season starts, to be there with Zamir White, Amir Abdullah, and Britton Brown. Last year, the Raiders kept 5 running backs, and if they do that again, Sincere McCormick has some talent to develop, making him a better option than a 33-year-old that's out of juice. Amik Robertson's competitive heart got him to the NFL, but it's going to be hard for him to remain a Raider. In the NFL, you have to survive regime changes and the players that come with them. Will Robertson be able to survive this one? The Gruden-Mayock regime took him in the 4th round in 2020 with hopes of him being a slot corner at 5'8", but it didn't work out. He did better when they moved him back outside where he played in college, but can you trust him on a guy that's 6'4" on a back shoulder fade in the red zone with the game on the line? Me neither. I love his heart, but all the heart in the world wouldn't help Lil Bow Wow stop Shaq in the post. I think he should use that heart to learn how to play in the slot. The Raiders are running more press man than they have in years, and that requires arm length. The new regime has brought in a bunch of other players the last couple of years, but after drafting Jacorian Bennett and getting Marcus Peters in free agency this offseason, Robertson might be out if he can't cover the slot so he can cover smaller guys. Oh man, the more I think about it, there's going to be a lot of competition in the slot too. Decisions. The new regime has a lot of them to make. Like I said before, the team is really starting to look like they wanted to, and hopefully it'll look even more like they wanted to after they cut the roster down to 53. Who they cut and who they keep will ultimately determine how close they get to having the roster they want. If you really look at the guys I just presented to you, you can see why they may be in danger of getting cut. Parker hasn't been an effective pass protector, and there are other guys coming in. Amik Robertson is too small to play outside and doesn't feel comfortable in the slot while the new regime loaded up at corner this offseason. And Bolden, he's just old, and the Raiders are deep at running back, so we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching. See you next time.